Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Based on many reports today, Luis Enrique uh, has landed in London and had various meetings with Todd Bowley and the rest of the wise guys at Chelsea with regards to the possibility of becoming Chelsea's next manager. And of course, the next question is, well, who is Luis and Enrique? Well, everybody knows who Luis Enrique is, but the reality is, an interview is a two-way street. And so Luis Enrique has showed up in London with his CV and with his PowerPoints and all sorts of good stuff, and has given Bowley his own dreams and visions on how he can take Chelsea to the final level, to the pinnacle of football, where Chelsea FC dreams and deserves to attain based on the ambitions of this club. So he has come with his own program, but we as fans, we need to do our own due diligence work to ask ourselves, in reality, let's go behind his CV and ask ourselves, who is Luis Enrique, and in reality, what does he really bring to the table? Is it really a manager that can help us get to that level, or is there any other manager or managers out there that are better options? And so the question now is, who is Luis Enrique? Well, Luis Enrique was born in Gijon on May 8th, 1970, and he arrived at that coach. So after he played, he completed his footballing career as a player, which, by the way, that included long stints at both Real Madrid and Barcelona. Once he was done, once he had retired from Barca as a player, then he went back to his city of birth to take uh, job as a coach for Guillaume. But now, prior to that, at the age of 36, right? At the age of 36, Luis Enrique um, took a footballing course alongside Pep Guardiola. And then after he completed that footballing course in 2008, Luis Enrique's first job was as the coach of Barca B, right? Now, if you all understand how uh, sort of youth academy clubs play in Spain, theirs is a more uh, integrate setup, because their academy teams actually play alongside uh, experienced clubs, like in let's say in England, they'll be playing either like in championship level alongside other championship clubs, or um, Division One clubs, depending on, right, on how they perform, so they could gain promotion up the ranks. The only thing is that, let's say, were they to win the Spain's equivalent of the championship, which would be the Segunda B, I think is what it is. If they were able to, if they should they win it, then just due to, obviously, it wouldn't make sense. You cannot promote an academy team to La Liga. So that's the sort of limit there. And so and I just go at great lengths to say this because in 2008, 2009, Enrique, that's basically his first job, his first season as the coach of Barca B. They finished in fifth place in the second division of Barca B. Then the next year, Enrique coached Barca B to gain promotion into the second division A. And then by his third season, he actually coached Barca B to pretty much the highest, I believe, the highest position that they've ever achieved, and they finished in third place, which again is almost like finishing third place in a championship. Which, if you all already know, that means that you gained promotion to the Premier League level. So in essence, Luis Enrique um, led Barca B to what would have been promotion to La Liga, but for the obviously rules that pre-invented promotion. So once basically he had finished coaching at Barca B for 3 years, he had they decided that, hey, I mean, I've pretty much done enough. I've reached the end of the road here. Let me actually go and manage a professional club. And his first job at the senior level was in his first job was when he took over Roma. So he actually went to Serie I and managed Roma in 2011, 2012 season, where Roma he coached Roma to finish in seventh place in La Liga. They were knocked out of the semifinals of the Italian Cup and in the qualifying rounds of Europa League in 2011, 2012. So I want to say was the most level of success. While at Roma, there was some minor, should I say, controversial, handling between him and then, Captain Totti, who, if y'all understand Roma, Totti is pretty much like the, one of the biggest legends in Roma club, history, and he kind of butted heads with Totti, and that wouldn't be I mean, that might have been the first time of him going, knocking heads with a club legend, but it wouldn't be the last time. So then after that year, he took a break. So he basically coached 1 year at Roma. Then he decided to take 1 year off, and then he popped back up in a club, football. This time as the manager of Celta Vigo in 2013, 2014 season, where he coached Celta Vigo to ninth place in La Liga. So, like, if you all understand, La Liga is pretty much like the a big three. I mean, you're talking about Real Madrid, Barca, Athletic, Madrid, and I mean and pretty much everybody else. So obviously you have Sevilla and one or two other clubs. So Celta, Vigo is what would normally be like a mid-table slash lower half table. So he coached them to ninth place finish, which is fairly good. It's not I guess it will be almost in the on the level of Potter coaching Brighton to like eighth or like ninth place. So it's good, but not necessarily anything that would get you off your seat, right? So, but then after 1 year at Celta, Vigo, Barker at the time needed a new manager, and that's when Luis Enrique was then hired, was appointed as Barker's new manager for the 2014-2015 season. And guys, that's where everything kind of clicked for Luis Enrique. That's when Luis Enrique transformed into Luis Enrique, because in his first season as the coach of Barca, he won the treble for Barca. That's only the second time in the history of Barca that Barca won the treble. Yeah, so in that first season, Barca won the league title. They won the Copa del Rey, and of course they won the Champions League. So that was, I mean, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, when you win the treble, this was not that much else to. You're pretty much done, right? So, but then in his second season, he won the double at Barca. They won the league title. They also won the Copa del Rey in the second season. And then in his third season at Barca, they came up short in trying to win the league. But his team actually set a new goal scoring record. They had scored 116 goals in 38 matches, and they won just the Copa del Rey. And overall, in 3 seasons at Barca, Luis Enrique won 9 trophies out of a possible 13 trophies in 3 seasons at Barca. So that's pretty much it. That is why So we're wondering, why is Chelsea why do they have Luis Enrique as one of their top 2 or top 3 options to take over as the next manager? Well, guys, I mean, just his achievements at Barca pretty much speaks volumes as to the type of manager that that he can be, right? And so now the next thing is, of course, tactics. I mean, what, like, how does he how does he see football? I mean, he coached at Barca. Does that necessarily mean tiki taka, high possession based football, as is expected of a former coach from Barca? Well, yes and no. Yes and no. So you know I mean, basically, he's not necessarily into just pointless high possession based football. He's more into an incisive and a direct football, which features a lot of quick transitions from defense to attack, right? And and that his philosophy pretty much leads to a lot of goals. I mean, he's pretty much in the mindset of attack oriented football. Everything that he tries to ingrain on the players and on the team as a whole is to and encourage them to continue to attack and to defend from the front, through high pressing, all hands on deck. There are no sacred cows, and he's all about hard work, hard discipline, and attack. So now in his first 2 seasons at the Camp Nou, Luis Enrique fielded a 4-3-3. So now in that 4-3-3, obviously, the most popular part of that 4-3-3 is the MSN, the MSN front three, right? Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. That's that MSN. And so basically, what happened was, he had Messi and Neymar as in verted forwards who flanked Suarez, who was more or less like a mobile center forward. I mean, I wouldn't call him he's wasn't a traditional center forward. Obviously, when I mean, you already know Suarez is not quite the biggest. So he's mobile. He's I mean, you may call it a false nine, but I don't necessarily know if that's what it was. But it was more of a mobile. Modern nine per se. Okay, and it was devastating attacking trio, and those folks those top three were supported by a hardworking um, midfield trio, which uh, included Ivan Rakitic, as the defensive mid, as actually, one of the midfielders. Obviously, he had Busquets as his DM, but then he had Ivan as his box to box guy in the middle to basically help Barker to control and break up counters and just pretty much keep the pressure on the opposition. And so that pretty much helped to uh, present a platform for his attacking three players to thrive, and those attacking three players, especially by the inherent nature of your inverted wide forwards, Messi and Neymar. What that meant is those two were always gonna start their they were always going to start from wide areas of the pitch, but then they were going to cut in, and when they cut in, what it did was it then created spaces on the wings for his fullbacks to attack. So his 4-3-3 relies a lot on attacking fullbacks, which obviously Chelsea has James and Chilwell in terms of attacking fullbacks. And in terms of wingers, we have quite a few, quite a number of players that can play wide forward areas. Where Chelsea is lacking right now is in the uh, striker role. So in terms of 4-3-3, is definitely something that can be done. We just missing a few pieces in terms of having to get an actual striker that is clinical, and then also we may need DM, right, to also help out to free up Enzo to then play that Rakitic role in midfield. Okay, so now the question then becomes, what about his management, right? what about Luis Enrique's management role? I mean, can he, how does he deal with people? Well, let me just read y'all one quote one quote from Luis Enrique after he fell out with none other than Messi in 2015. That's actually in his first season. In his first season as a Barca's manager in January of 2015, Barca was kind of having a little bit of issue there, and Enrique and Messi had a falling out. And this is what Enrique had to say. He said, "I do not treat all of my players the same, just as I do not treat all of my children the same. I have negotiated things with the players. On some things I have been permissive, and on some I have been demanding. There are some rules that everyone must follow. That is one of my principles." Guys, I mean, that right there sounds like a manager who is fully in control of his squad, and there's no sacred cows. Whether your name is Messi or whether your name is Totti, he doesn't really matter. He doesn't really care really. I mean, all he cares about is every player on the team on one page and executing the his plan as he intends for his plan to be executed. Period. And having been through this rough year with a Potter, manager, that is really really serious about discipline and holding every player accountable, not necessarily just to punish them, but as a way to actually uh, and enhance the players to get them to be a better version of themselves, and therefore helping the team to be a much better version of what the team previously was. That type of manager, that's definitely a very good trait in the hopefully the future manager that Chelsea will be looking to hire. Um, and so as a result of him just being known as a hard nosed disciplinarian, um, after he left the Barker job, so he managed Barker for 3 years from 2014 to 20 17. After winning nine out of a possible 13 trophies, he then left Barker, and he was appointed as manager of Spain, which he held that role until the ending of the World Cup last year. So as it is right now, Luis Enrique is a free agent. He's available, and he's looking to work as a manager, and he wants to work in England. So now, here's the deal, guys. What are the pros and cons? I mean, we have heard it all, right? What are the pros and cons? As Chelsea fans, what do we care about, and why should we even care? Well, the pros and cons, as I mentioned, Luis Enrique is available and ready right now because he's unemployed. So it's a free transfer, if you want to call it that. There's no compensation that Chelsea will have to pay to any club to get him out of a contract. There's no like 10 million or whatever, 15, 20 million Chelsea has to pay. He's basically free. Just talk to the man and negotiate, reach an agreement on his his salary. Once you all agree and shake hands, the salary amount, the contract length, and other little tidbits, then he's yours. So that's a pro. Okay, another pro is that Luis Enrique is a proven winner at the highest level. As I mentioned, he's won 9 trophies out of a possible 13 at 3 years at in 3 years at Barcelona. Also, as a player, when he played, he was he played at the highest level. I mean, the man played for Real Madrid and Barca. And guys, don't y'all underestimate the in importance of that, because he's been there. He's been in the trenches. He understands how the pressures that are expected of players at the highest level. And and while he was playing, right, he was actually versatile player. Like, he played in midfield, he played in attack, he played everywhere. He even played as a striker at times. He had crazy stamina. He loved to run all day. He was hard nosed, worked so hard. I mean, that was the kind of, he was basically your old fashioned blue collar player, but with high technical ability on the ball, right? And so that was the kind of player that he was. and he played that way at the highest level, and so you better believe that he's going to demand that from his players. All right. So then again, pros. Number four, he's a disciplinarian. Again, as I mentioned, you already heard about how he had to, sort of manage possible issues with Messi and Totti. So, he's not afraid to, confront big names, but not necessarily to confront them, to freeze them out, right? There's one thing to be a hard-nosed disciplinarian just for the sole point, just to prove a point that you're in charge, and be before you know it, you have a veteran player training with the academy team. I mean that really doesn't do much good, really. Especially if that player can still help the club. But you know what? Based on prior uh, evidence in his dealing with Messi. Like he had a falling out with Messi. They were able to basically sit down, hash it out, and Messi ended up being an actual better player. Imagine Messi being a better. Messi became a better player, you know, on top of the fact that he was already one of the greatest of all time at that time. But Enrique was able to get an extra tune out of Messi and actually make him even better. And that was after they fell out. So that's actually like a very positive trait. The fact that him in trying to be hard and tough on players is really because he is frustrated and wants and expects his players to be disciplined and to be more demanding of themselves, as he from more demanding of themselves than he is of those players. And so that's exactly what we want and we need, especially a team like Chelsea that has a lot of young players, right? Then number five, he's tactically flexible. He's whether the formation at Barcelona, he used up to four different formations, up to at least three different formations over the 3 years at Barca. For the most part, he played a 4-3-3, but then I believe in his last season he morphed into 3-4-3 and a little bit of 4-4-2. So I mean, he's not necessarily married to any one thing. He's a manager that will look at the the situation on ground. Look at the players that he has, and then say, okay, all right, all right, guys, let's play it this way. He's going to mix players. He's going to figure it out until he gets the right formula, right? And so that is another pro. Then the final pro, as I mentioned, is that hey, attacking football, like he's about he's not about just passing the ball just for the heck of it. He's about passing with purpose and attacking with purpose, with speed, in incisive in attacking, right? And it's results oriented because, as I mentioned, at the time his team, I'm not sure if it's still the record, but at the time his team set the goal scoring record in Spain. They scored 116 goals in 38 matches. That's 116 goals in 38 matches, guys. I mean that's like almost almost like 3 goals. That's almost three goals. Actually, that's actually more than three. He actually averaged. He averaged just a little more than 3 goals a game. So guys, I mean what's not to like, right? I mean that's a lot of pros from Luis Enrique. Well, the cons, and like, are there any cons? Well, I mean, nobody is perfect. There's got to be some kind of cons. Well, number one, he's been out of club football since 2017, and that's like six. So the last time he actually managed a club was six years ago, right? And that's quite a long time in football. Now the mitigating factor there is the fact that obviously that he during that period he was also the manager of Spain, so it's not like he was he wasn't working during that time. Then number two, again, apart from his his management at Barca, there's no other exceptional results, right? In terms of his management at Roma or at Celta Vigo, even at Spain, like he didn't win anything else. He didn't finish top four at Roma. He didn't finish top four with Celta Vigo. Um, Spain crashed out of the World Cup last year in the round of 16. So I mean, again, just question marks, right? Just question marks. Number three, his personality can be deemed by some folks as being a bit too conservative, right? So is he too strict? Is he a little bit out of touch? These are younger players, Mikhailo, Modric, Nani, all these, I mean, these are kids, right? These are the 21, 20-year-old, 22, 23-year-old kids. I mean, these are, they're into Instagram these days and, TikTok. I mean, and Enrique is, 52 years old, and I mean, I don't know, is he, in tune with these, with how to manage these kids and get the best out of these kids. And then number four, the fourth con, if you want to call it that, is whether he's a manager that is prone to early burnout. I mean, what I call burnout risk. I mean, like he's at Barker, he managed for 3 years, and when he made the decision not to extend his contract, Messi and some other players begged him to actually stay. They actually went to him, begged him, said, Enrique, please, can you stay a little bit longer? And I mean, Enrique's like, guys, I'm tired. Let me take a little time off, a year or two to calm down. So, I mean, is he a short term manager? Is he a long he doesn't. There's no track record of long term management from Luis Enrique, right? There's no track record of long term management from Luis Enrique. He managed at Roma for 1 year. He managed at Celta Vigo for 1 year, and then he managed at Barca for 3 years. And then he then took the Spain job. Even the Spain job, I think he had like two stints at the Spain job. He managed for a year, then resigned, took a year or 2 years off. I think it took about a year off or so, and then managed for another couple years. So it's obvious that it's well documented that Todd Bowley and Chelsea management, they're looking for a manager that they can rely on for the long term, right? We're not looking for like a short term manager. They're looking for a manager that yes, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna this is gonna be my home. I'm gonna be part of the office furniture. I'm gonna be here for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, even if it's even possible. And so that would be like a strike. I mean, there's nothing in Luis Enrique's CV that shows us that he's a long-term type of manager. Now, obviously, things can change, right? I mean, who knows what happened? I mean, maybe he's been through. He has chilled down. He has calmed down for the past few years. managing Spain. Spain is like a retirement home type of level because it's just manage the country only a few games a year and you just chill. So now he's ready for club football where he can manage up to almost over 60 games every year plus preseason is year round. So is he now ready? Is he ready now for the long term? That right there is a question mark for Todd Bowley and uh, Ebwale and Vivell to answer that question. So guys, how do y'all feel about Luis Enrique? Is he a manager that's going to fit? That's going to fit Chelsea? It's like given all the various needs that this Chelsea team has, the type of players that we have, where we are right now as a club. Is Luis Enrique the right manager for Chelsea? Guys, can you all comment below, like this video, share this video. Take care. God bless you all. Peace.